What's up, everybody? Weston here with the Hidden Gibbon, back with another daily deck tech video and back with another viewer request in our long march of viewer requests. Before we get into it, if you like my deck techs or if you like my discussion content, budget content, feel free to subscribe. You don't have to, only if you feel I've earned it. And if you really like budget content, feel free to check out on Mondays. I'm going to be having Magic for the Working Class, which are a series of deck techs which are all under $100. In these economic times, we gotta kind of penny pinch a little bit. But without further ado, let's get into this one today. And we have Gonti Knight Minister. And I tried to keep this one pretty budgety as well, coming in at about $111. So who is Gonti Knight Minister? Well, he's from Aether Drift, and he's a 3/4/4/4, and says, whenever a player casts a spell they don't own, that player creates a treasure token. So we get a lot of free treasures here. And whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller looks at the top card of that opponent's library and exiles it face down. Then they may play that card for as long as it remains exiled. Mana of any type can be spent to cast a spell this way. This is kind of a chaos commander in a way, because it acts symmetrically. If say the person to your left hits the person next to them, then they get to look at the card, etc. But we want to maximize our value out here by having lots of things that can't be blocked, shadow, menace, etc. And so let's take a gander at what we have, shall we? First off, we're going to have a whole bunch of these little dorky dudes that don't do a whole lot on their own, but they're going to help us steal things pretty quickly. And the first one of these is going to be Changeling Outcast. It's a changeling, and it can't block, but it also can't be blocked, and it's a 1/1, so it's going to help you steal some stuff out there. We have Dalek Squadron. It's Menace and Myriad, so when it attacks, you'll create a copy of it attacking each other player, which is pretty neat, especially with Menace, able to get through, get a little bit of stuff. We have Dothy Horror. Shadow and Dothy Horror cannot be blocked by white creatures, which is hilarious because it has Shadow, and there's only a few creatures in Magic the Gathering that are white that have Shadow. It's like the Wrathy or something like that. I can't quite remember what they are, but they all come from the same set series. We have Dothy Slayer. Each turn, Dothy Slayer attacks if able. Oh boy, it's a shadow creature. Shadow also means that it can't be blocked by creatures that don't have Shadow, but it also can't block creatures without Shadow. We have Dothy Voidwalker, which is Shadow. This is the most well-known Dothy. Shadow, and if a card would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, instead exile it with a void counter on it, and then you can sacrifice Dothy Voidwalker, choose an exile, and choose an exiled card an opponent owns with a void counter on it. You may play it this turn without paying its mana cost. We do have a high cost card in here, the Elder Brain. Menace, and whenever the Elder Brain attacks a player, exile all cards from that player's hand. Then they draw that many cards. You may play lands and cast spells from among the exiled cards for as long as they remain exiled. If you would cast a spell this way, you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color. So if you can protect this thing, this can net you quite a bit of tools at your kit to be able to cast. And it's on attack trigger, not on damage trigger. We have Ginger Brute, which has haste. You can make it so it can't be blocked for 1, or you can tap 2 and sacrifice it to gain 3 life because it is a food. We have Gix, Yawgmoth Praetor. Good old Gix. Whenever you have a creature deal combat damage to a player, or one of your opponents, in case you haven't do it to yourself, it doesn't work. Its controller may pay 1 life. If they do, they draw a card. That's pretty cool. So this is, again, a symmetrical thing. So if one of your opponents hits, they can pay a life, draw a card. And then you can pay 7, discard X cards, exile the top X cards of target opponent's library. You may play lands and cast spells from among the exiled cards without paying their mana cost. We have Gonti, Lord of Luxury. 2/3/4, a Death Touch. And when Gonti, Lord of Luxury, enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of target opponent's library, exile one of them face down, put the rest on the bottom of that library in a random order. You may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled, and mana of any type can be spent to cast it. We do have Gary in here for generic value. We're going to have a lot of black pips. People are going to want to be hitting you because you are stealing things. People really do not like theft decks in any realm of the imagination. So we got Gary in here to gain us some life. And of course he says, when he enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, and where X is your devotion to black, and you gain life equal to life lost this way. We have an Intellect Devourer. It's a 2/4 for 4. It has Devour Intellect. When Intellect Devourer enters the battlefield, each opponent exiles a card from their hand until Intellect Devourer leaves the battlefield. And you may play lands and cast spells from among cards exiled with Intellect Devourer. You can cast a spell this. If you cast a spell this way, you may spend mana as though or mana of any color to cast it. We have Lobelia, Defender of Bag End. She's a 2/2 for 3. And when Lobelia enters the battlefield, look at the top card of each opponent's library and exile those cards face down. You can tap and sacrifice an artifact. Till end of turn, you may play a card exiled with Lobelia, or you can have each opponent lose 2 life and you gain 2 life. I did put Mai in here to punish our opponents if they're going to be casting these extra spells. First strike, and whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, they lose 2 life. Note that this is symmetrical, so it does hit you as well. But the goal here is to hit our opponents harder than it's hitting us. We have Morbid Opportunist. Whenever one or more other creatures die, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. We have Nashi Moon Sage. It has ninjutsu for 4, or whenever Nashi Moon Sage's Scion deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of each player's library. Till end of turn, you may play those cards. Play one of those cards. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than paying its mana cost. We have Prickly Boggart. He has Fear, so he can only be blocked by artifact and black creatures. He's a 1/1 for 1, so an easy way to get down there. Rankle, Flying Haste, and whenever he deals combat damage to a player, choose any number. Each player discards a card, each player loses a life and draws a card, each player sacks a creature. Sad Robot, he'll get us a land and draws a card. Thieving Varmint, Death Touch, and Lifelink, and you pay 1 mana, or pay 1 life, add 2 mana of any color. Spend this only to cast spells you don't own. We have Tormented Soul. It can't block and is unblockable. Vampire Cutthroat is Skulk, so it can't be blocked by creatures with greater power, and it has lifelink. We have Vashta Narada, Indestructible, Shadow, and Morbid. So at the beginning of each end step, if a creature died this turn, put a 1/1 counter on Vashta Narada. For our sorceries, we have Come Back Wrong. We're going to have quite a few of these where we're going to have creatures come back. This one is Destroy Target Creature. If a creature card is put into a graveyard this way, return it to the battlefield under your control. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So you can do this to your opponent's stuff. And if you have some ETB trigger you want, you could even do it to your own stuff. Decorum Dissertation. This is from the new Strixhaven set. Target player draws 2 and loses 2. So it's Sign in Blood. But for 5, and it has Paradigm, so whenever you cast it the first time, it then goes off every single upkeep. Feed the Swarm, destroy target creature or enchantment, you lose life equal to the permanent's mana value. Fell, destroy target creature. I put this card in a lot of decks in black. It was simply because I love the art. Like, I really, really love this art with Maha on it. Mutilate, all creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn for each swamp you control. Night's Whisper, you draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. We have Predator's Hour. This is a long one, so until end of turn, creatures you control gain Menace. So there's our dodge ability. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library face down. You may look and play that card for as long as it remains exiled, and you may spend mana as though or mana of any color to cast that spell. This is for 2, so if you have a bunch of our little dorky dudes out there, in addition to Gonti, you're going to get extra value off of Predator's Hour. We have Sadistic Shell Game. Starting with the next opponent in turn order, each player chooses a creature you don't control and destroy the chosen creature, so you're forcing your opponents to kill each other's stuff. And then we have the original Sign in Blood in here. Target player draws 2 and loses 2. We do have Deadly Dispute. Sack a creature, draw 2, create a treasure token. We have Consuming Corruption. Deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker. You gain X life versus the number of swamps. We do have ways to get us this life because we have quite a few cards that are draining us. We have Corrupted Conviction. Sack a creature, draw 2. We have the classic Doom Blade. We have Fake Your Own Death. So until end of turn, target creature gets +2/+0 and gains when this creature dies. Return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. You gain a treasure token. We have Go for the Throat. Infernal Grasp for some more removal. Maximum Overdrive, put a 1/1 counter on target creature, gains Death Touch and Indestructible, so this will protect something that we need, like our Gonti. We have Misinformation, put up to 3 target cards from an opponent's graveyard on top of his or her library in any order. So you do this, and if they have something busted there, then you do that before combat damage is dealt, and then you're going to go ahead and steal their stuff. Murder, destroys a creature. Not Dead After All and Undying Malice and Supernatural Stamina are all going to return our creatures to the battlefield when they die. Not Dead After All puts a Wicked Roll counter on them. Undying Malice puts a 1/1 counter on it. We have Outrageous Robbery. Target opponent exiles the top X cards of their library face down. You may look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled, and if you cast a spell this way, you may spend mana as though it were mana of any kind. We do have Overkill, so target creature is just dead, because there's no, like, unless you have something that's going to get really, really, really big, really fast, it's going to die. Village Rites, sack a creature, draw 2 cards. We are running 10 artifacts in this deck. We have Arcane Signet in here. We do have Fellwar Stone and Soul Ring for our mana rocks, since we might want to generate extra mana to cast the things that we are exiling. We have Dream Thief's Bandana. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, look at the top card of their library, then exile it for as long as it remains exiled. You can play it. A lot of these effects in the deck. Goldvein Pickaxe, +1/+1. Whenever the equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token, put it on one of your shadow creatures. You get to tink in and get some more treasures. The Dark Crystal, black spells cost 1 less, that's always good. And if a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, exile instead, you gain 2 life, and you can pay 6 to put a creature card exiled with the Dark Crystal onto the battlefield, tapped under your control with 2 additional 1/1 counters on it. We have Thieves' Tools. When it enters, create a treasure. Equipped creature can't be blocked as long as its power is 3 or less. We have Trail Blazer's Boots, makes it unblockable if they have non-basics, because it's non-basic land walk. Whisper Silk Cloak, unblockable in Shroud, and then Lantern of Insight, which is going to probably piss people off as much as when I play Telepathy. Lantern of Insight, each player plays with the top card of his or her library revealed. Sacrifice the Lantern of Insight, target player shuffles his or her library. We have Cunning Rhetoric. Whenever an opponent attacks you or one of your planeswalkers you control, exile the top card of their library. You can play it for as long as it remains exiled, spend mana. Kai's Ghost Form will bring something back when it dies. So you can enchant a creature or planeswalker you control. So if you steal an opponent's creature or planeswalker via Gonti, then put Kai's Ghost Form on it while you control it. And then if it dies, it just comes back to you. Parasitic Impetus, this gives a creature goad. This ensures that somebody's not going to hit you and steal your stuff. And then we have Revenge of Ravens. Whenever somebody tries to attack you, they lose a life and you gain a life per creature. For our lands, we have Escape Tunnel, Secret Tunnel, Rogue's Passages, and Access Tunnel to create unblockable ability. Bajuka Bog to get rid of a graveyard. Myriad Landscape for the tiniest amount of fetch. Realm of Ko, it enters tapped unless you control a basic land, and you can create unblockable little spirits. And then 31 Swamps for 38 lands. So that's the build. Let's go ahead now and take a look at our opening hands. 1 second, zoom out, there we are. So we're starting here with 3 Swamps, an Access Tunnel, a Thieves' Tools, and a Vampiric Cutthroat. So we're going to draw for our first turn. We're going to play a Swamp, and we're going to play Vampiric Cutthroat. Skulk, lifelink, pretty simple. Next turn, we're going to draw. We're going to drop down our Thieves' Tools. And of course, Thieves' Tools, again, is whenever the creature, whenever it enters, create a treasure token, and the equipped creature can't be blocked as long as it has power 3 or less. So then we're going to add our token. We have our treasure token. And then we go to our next turn. We are going to play a Swamp. I am actually going to wait 1 turn to play our Gonti so we can have some form of protection on him. Vampire Cutthroat, he's going to swing in. He gains us a life. Pretty simple. Next turn, we're going to play our... Oh, not dead after all. Our Swamp. We are then going to play Gonti. So whenever a player casts a spell they don't own, and whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, you know, the core of the deck. We're going to attack. We get some card over here, you know. And then we do have a treasure available for Not Dead After All. So if somebody tries to kill Gonti without exiling it, it'll come back with the Wicked Roll counter on it. And then we go to our next turn. He didn't die, because nobody's going to see this 1/1 as a threat right off the bat. We're going to play Tormented Soul. And we're just going to start getting ready to welcome people to the jam to just come on and slam. But let's try one more hand, shall we? Again, Swamp, Bajuka Bog, Secret Tunnel, Supernatural Stamina, Dothy Voidwalker. Yeah, so we are going to draw for our turn. We're going to play a Swamp. Next turn, we're going to play a Swamp, and we're going to drop Dothy. Yep, pretty simple. Next turn, Dothy's going to crash in for 3. We have our ways to bring Dothy back. Next turn, we drop our Swamp. I'm just going to drop Gonti this turn. And so Dothy's going to come in. Next turn, Swamp. Pretty simple, straightforward strategies, right? And then we just do this, and we play our Sad Robot, which lets us search for a Swamp. Close and shuffle, puts it into play tapped. Next turn, I would just play the Decorum Dissertation, so we get that. We draw 2 cards, and then we can just, you know, you can sack your Sad Robot here to draw 2 cards. Draw 2, and then we can drop the Darkness Crystal. We have a whole bunch of stuff we can do. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like I said, I tried to keep this one pretty budget, but functional. As always, I'm Weston with the Hidden Gibbon, and if you want to see your commander made into a deck tech, drop it in the comments down below. Have a great day. What's up?